Well, hello and welcome everybody. Randy Replay. Oh, excuse me, Randy Replay. Well, Randy Replay is back at it again. Minnesota Vikings football. On the air. Online. All across the SSN. Minnesota Vikings fan line, of course, is up and running. For those of you watching on the SSN through the simulcast feature. Week number 8. Arizona comes to town, of course. If you've been keeping up, we had the best part of the season, the bye-week extravaganza. Randy Replay going over everything Minnesota Vikings football. And this time we have a very, I know I've said it before with the Bears, but we have a very beatable team in the Arizona Cardinals coming to town today in a very, very important last half of the season. We have our first user game against the Bills, where we will have an exclusive interview with a representative from said Bills. And there's Dro. Let's go Vikings. Yes, a big opportunity to get ahead in the division. If you can knock off the Cardinals here today, 2-5, you go to the Commanders in Washington, and you can squeak out a win there. You're set in a good position, and if the Lions keep on their trend, you're third in the division. Depending on what the Bears do, they're hot right now. And the Packers, of course, they've owned this division for the past couple seasons, so we're not out of the woods. We're not out of the race yet, but if you lose this game, you might as well be looking forward to next season. Unless if you hashtag run the table, speaking about the Packers. A lot to get into, as you can see on the main screen here. A lot of things have happened. Week 8, the trade deadline, the Minnesota Vikings were very, very, very active. I think 6 or 7 trades went down. Ron Barron, this Minnesota Vikings front office, making some moves. So let's get into them right away. The Falcons have signed Kellen Mond from the practice squad. So Kellen Mond is now a Falcon. We wish him the best of luck, as we always do. For players that have left this team to the other team from the practice squad, excuse me. And the Minnesota Vikings have signed Colin Johnson. If you don't know who he is a 6'6" wide receiver from the Giants practice squad, but we use him as a tight end here now. Minnesota Vikings brought him in over the week, tested him out at tight end, tried him out, however you want to say it, and it seems to have worked. So you might be asking yourself, what happened to Johnny Munt? Well, don't worry, we'll get into it. As I said, very, very busy week for the Minnesota Vikings. But first, as we do, we will get into the injury report for both teams. Justin Jefferson is back. Danielle Hunter is back. And that just leaves Dalvin Cook out for broken ribs. And he will be out for 1 week. On the other side of the ball, the Cardinals, J.J. Watt. So we dodge a big bullet here. He has a fractured shoulder blade. Oh my goodness. Of course, a staple on the defensive side for all the teams he has played for in the NFL. So we wish him the very best of luck and a speedy, speedy recovery. 6 more weeks for that shoulder blade. That puts him out until, oh God, probably week 15, week 16, depending on what they want to do. So he's not placed on the IR yet. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay. Randy Replay mentioned very, very busy week. We got kickoff coming up here. Don't worry. So let's get into some of these moves that the Minnesota Vikings have made. We're going to go over each individual roster spot. That's not the only weapon they have. Yeah, but it's a big one. From what I remember looking at the stat sheet, he's played pretty good this season. But yeah, they got Budda Baker over there. It's definitely a really good defense, and this team is going to be tested. Yeah, and DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, so for the defense, hopefully we can take care of some business. So we're going to get into this. Kirk Cousins and Desmond Ridder. You might be asking yourself, what happened to Nick Mullins? Well, he was traded away. Desmond Ridder was released by the Falcons, picked up by Minnesota. And he is now serving as Kirk Cousins' backup. So the team had to reevaluate every single position on this team and figure out what they want to do going into the last half of the season and looking forward. So we're going to first go position by position, then we'll go into draft picks because our draft pick selections look totally different. And we'll see what Minnesota was able to do. There we go. Checking up on one thing. Here we go. Running back, Dalvin Cook. What? Raheem Mostert? Oh my gosh. What? Where's Alexander Madison? Well, Alexander Madison and the team have been in talks of contract extension. The Minnesota Vikings offered them what they thought their best offer was. Alexander Madison declined, so the team parted ways. And now Raheem Mostert is here as the backup, so he will play. And he'll start for Dalvin Cook, who is injured. What's up, Minecraft, dude? No, I'm doing franchise. It's solo only. And you obviously didn't read the title of the stream, so I appreciate you. All right, 3, 2, 1. So he will start until next week when Dalvin Cook comes back. Wide receiver. KJ Osborne is back on the team. Of course, the Minnesota Vikings have traded Jalen Reagor away. And, yeah, it's a totally different wide receiver core. And the Minnesota Vikings got a draft selection back that they think will suffice with what they want to do this season in the draft. For tight end, Johnny Munt traded away. Colin Johnson comes in. Kind of hopefully lighting a fire under Irv Smith, who hasn't really done too much this season. So Johnny Munt traded away. Colin Johnson signed from the Giants practice squad. He's a scheme fit future starter, 2 years in the league. Irv Smith Jr. Extension was they're talking right now, so we'll see what happens with Irv Smith Jr. You can play with people in franchise? You can't, though. Yeah, it's a closed franchise. Yeah. Last time we let somebody in, they completely fucked everything up. So. And then I ask that you please just keep it about the franchise or play on the field just for tonight. Yeah, my bad. Just because we are recording for YouTube, you know. We are recording for YouTube. Yeah. I only do it for these streams. Otherwise, I wouldn't give a crap. So, yeah. And then we got 20 gifted on the line for this season. So, we are not accepting anybody else. We have, 3 people? 3 people in. So, yeah. Do. All right. Restart again. All right, 3, 2, 1. So we will see what happens in the battle of the tight end spot. Of course, everybody's morale is down because the team is 0-7. Offensive line doesn't really look too different. Didn't really do anything there, did the Minnesota Vikings. Right end, though. Everson Griffin. Nick Mullins traded for Everson Griffin straight up. So the Cardinals wanted to offload Everson Griffin. He will be a good placeholder, as Harrison Phillips has definitely regressed since the opening play of the opening game, I should say, of this season. Still getting sacks. I think he's got to be top 10 in tackles for this team. He's playing good. He's just not where this team wanted to be, obviously, at that right end position. So Everson Griffin, welcome back to purple, and he will expected to play out his last year. Expected to retire at the end of the season, so we'll see what happens with that. Defensive tackle, nothing changed. Linebacking core, nothing really changed. And that is just about it. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, wait a minute. What, didn't they have Aaron Donald at one point? Yes, we did. Oh, also, going to the practice squad here, Drake London, who was just released by the Falcons, had some fumbling issues. He has been picked up and signed to the Vikings practice squad. Hopefully they can mentor him into a starting wide receiver. As you can see, he is 21 years old, day one starter, and he is now on the practice squad. So maybe they're doing it just to work him out for a little bit, see if he can get those fumbling issues out of the way, and then promote him to the main roster. They would have to send Dan Chisena down, I do believe is what the move that was mentioned. We did a lot of talking. I was at the TCO Performance Center for a good majority of the week. Randy Replay got some good knowledge from the front office staff, which I'll go over during the game, which kickoff is coming, so we have to get going here. But looking at Minnesota's draft picks now, totally different. They do not have any picks for next season. The Minnesota Vikings in a very, very deep draft class are going all in next year. So the picks for the Minnesota Vikings are as follows. Pick 1, this is theirs. The only pick that the Minnesota Vikings had that was theirs from the start of the season. So projected to be pick 1 if they continue to not win a game. Pick 29 from Kansas City. We'll go over the trades too. I do believe this came over in the Alexander Madison trade. Anyway, pick 36 from Atlanta from a couple years ago, I do believe. Pick 2, pick 53, round 2, pick 53 rather, from Cleveland. And then they have back-to-back in the third, 92 and 93 from Los Angeles and Kansas City. Or they both, both came from Kansas City, but the 92 pick is by way of Los Angeles through Kansas City. So that is a third team draft selection. Originally Los Angeles's, Kansas City traded for it, and now it belongs to the Minnesota Vikings. So, oh my heavens. And then the 1/5 round from Arizona, pick 131. So, 2 first-round selections, one at the beginning, one at the end. Minnesota did have 135, but they traded with Arizona to move up 4 spots. I don't really know what that was all about. But anyway, we'll get into these maneuvers here, and we can kind of see what shook loose this week. In a very, very busy week for the Minnesota Vikings. Nick Mullins traded to Cardinals for Everson Griffin, as we stated. There it is. Signed Desmond Ridder to the practice squad, or from the practice squad, rather. And then here's that trade, moving up from 134 to 131. KJ Osborne came over after a 4th-round selection was sent to the Seahawks. If you remember, we traded him away in the beginning of the year. So, welcome back, KJ Osborne. For a 5th and a 7th. Or no, a 4th. And then they got a 5th and the 7th. And then, of course, we have the KJ Osborne trade. Minnesota traded a 5th and a 7th for Osborne. Or, a 4th and a 7th for Osborne and a 5th. So, there you go. They move up from 223 to 134, which then they traded to the Cardinals for 131. So, ultimately, the Minnesota Vikings gave up a 102 for KJ and then amassed a 131 from a 223. So a very, very good series of trades there to move up in the draft and get a wide receiver. Welcome back, KJ Osborne. That kind of a weird thing to trade him and then get him back, but you know, these front office guys, they have an agenda. Randy Replay is not meant to question it. He is just meant to report on it. And then, of course, the Seahawks trade a 7th for Jalen Reagor. So Minnesota sends Jalen Reagor to the Seahawks for a 7th, amassing into that big deal to move up to 131. Sorry. And then Jalen Reagor signed or traded, whatever. Gosh, sorry. Randy Replay's a little overwhelmed here tonight. And then Seahawks release Adam Humphries to make room for said trade. Minnesota Vikings signed Drake London, their practice squad. We already got that. Minnesota Vikings signed Tanner Muse, who is a very, very good middle linebacker. Very quick, 90 rated overall speed, I should say. Very, very important to note that draft rating of 90 for speed. So there you go. Desmond Ridder added to the practice squad, which eventually signed. Raheem Mostert signed a 1-year, $2.25 million contract. And then the Vikings traded Alexander Mattison to the Jaguars for a second-round pick. So they put out feelers this week after extension talks with Madison have gone sour. Said he didn't want to be here anymore. He's not going to re-sign. He has no interest. And the Minnesota Vikings at the trade deadline, whether they acted very, very quickly, whether they jumped the gun, they get a second-round pick. Pick number 53. So it is what it is. In the most humblest opinion, I think Alexander Mattison, while he could start on any team, he gives you the best opportunity here in Minnesota. I hate to see him go, but as I said, the front office guys have an agenda. I'm just here to report on it. Jaguars then release Avery Williams to make room. We re-signed Ndamukong Suh, 1 year, 9.7. He's very happy to be here. Johnny Munt went to the Saints for a round 7, 223. So instead of releasing him, we get something back for Johnny Munt. They released Juwan Johnson to make room for that trade. Colin Johnson was signed from the Giants practice squad as a wide receiver, 1 year, $900K. And they moved him to tight end. They thought he could be better at 6'6". Kind of a red zone threat, so we'll see if they utilize him there. We released Austin McGinnis from the practice squad to make way for Colin Johnson, who then was signed. So there you go. And then the Minnesota Vikings traded a Caleb Evans from the practice squad, a 5th and a 7th, for a 4th-round pick from the Steelers. And that is pick 102. So Caleb Evans signed from the practice squad and then traded to the Steelers for a 4th-round pick. We give up 150 and 212 in the draft to move up to 102. So very, very good strategy there. Geez. Moving up 48 spots in the draft. We give up round 7, but you don't really get too much in terms of diamond in the rough, it seems like, anymore. So we'll see if all these trades don't work out. We have a lot to talk about next season. Steelers release Riley Dixon to make way for Caleb Evans. And then the big trade. The Vikings involved in some pick trades here. The Chiefs give up round 1, 29 overall, round 3, 93, and round 3, 92. So back-to-back round 3 trades and number 29 for the Minnesota Vikings, 22nd, 161 and 129. So the Chiefs going into the season have, I do believe, 4 picks in the 3rd round. So we really just traded back in the 1st to get a couple in the 3rd. And then we get rid of a 5th and a 6th. So just a little draft. The Minnesota Vikings front office clearly has somebody they want to target in the 1st round. Apart from our number 1 overall pick, if we keep going on the current clip we're going at. So the end of the 1st round, there's a couple good players in the cornerback position, not quarterback. So maybe that's who they're trying to go for, as Xavier Rhodes is expected to retire as well. Anyway, moving along. And then the Lions, oh my goodness. As part of that trade, the Lions We give up a third, 76, a 254, and number 112 for yeah, so we move up from 22 to 12 as part of that trade. And then we do give up a second round as well, or we do get a second round, giving up a second. So swapping first and second round picks and amassing a third for the Minnesota Vikings there. And then the big trade this trade deadline, the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah, I just saw the Rams logo. The Minnesota Vikings trade Nate Hairston to the Rams for a seventh round. Caleb Evans signed to the practice squad. And here is the one we're talking about. The Minnesota Vikings trade number 1, pick 12. And yeah, so we swap seconds. Wait. The way this is laid out, you've heard it all season from Randy Replay. The way this is laid out is very, very confusing. So the Rams trade number I'm so confused. Okay, so the Vikings give up Aaron Donald, a 2, number 33, and a 3, number 65 for number 1 for the first overall pick, our original pick that we traded Aaron Donald away for, and then a 2024 round 1, pick 12, which was then traded away to amass a 29. So Minnesota Vikings moving back in the later part of the first round, and then trading Aaron Donald back to the Rams. So Vikings fanline, what was your favorite Aaron Donald Minnesota Viking moment? I have a couple, but he really wasn't too much of an impact here. He had a couple sacks. More so in the tackling game, he was a big contributor. But either way, the Minnesota Vikings amassing 2 first-round picks, giving up a second and a third, and Aaron Donald. So we get our original pick back, the one that we traded away for him originally. We get a 12, which we then turned into a 29. As part of the aforementioned trade. So there we go. Danielle Hunter changed numbers so that Aaron Donald could have 99 as he goes back. And then Kellen Mond was signed in to the Falcons practice squad. And then the Bills signed free agent Sheldon Richardson. That was this week as well. Browns trade around 6 for Tavon Austin and Keel Harry. Or Tavon Austin for N'Keal Harry in a round 6 pick. So there you go. Jaron Kearse was signed this week. And then the Bills made another move. The Bills trade Jawan James to the Raiders for a 6th round pick. Man, the Bills were kind of active here this week too. And Billy Turner. As part of that other Raiders trade. And then the 49ers trade Steven Nelson to the Bills for Devin Singletary, a 3rd round and a 7th round. So Steven Nelson, welcome to Bills Mafia. Bears released Danny Trevathan. And Nicole Roby was re-signed. Broncos re-signed Jamar Johnson. We're looking for anything else from the teams that we follow. I do believe that is just about it. Tay Davis released Rashaan Evans. That was in week 6, so we're good to go. Everything is caught up. Randy Replay struggling through these trades made, but the only thing we have to worry about is the draft picks for the Minnesota Vikings. And so the Minnesota Vikings draft picks are as follows. Once more, to get you ready for kickoff, they have the first overall selection. Ours originally involved in the Aaron Donald trade, now twice, sending him back to LA. And then 29th from KC. 36 originally from Atlanta in the 2nd round, 53 from Cleveland, and then 92 by way of Los Angeles through Kansas City Los Angeles' original pick. Chargers, that is, not Rams. And then 93, so back-to-back picks in the third rounds by way of Kansas City and Los Angeles. And then 131 in the fifth from Arizona. No picks next season, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, for your Minnesota Vikings. Are kind of going all in on what is expected to be a very, very good draft class this season. And, of course, every home game after the bye week is Minnesota Vikings fan appreciation game. So Minnesota Vikings will be wearing their all-purple jerseys here for this one. And if you're looking to come out to the stadium, just know that you will be saving a lot of money as the Minnesota Vikings try to show their appreciation for their fans, especially this season. Coming into this game 0-6. Oh my goodness. So, like we said at the top of the broadcast, a very, very beatable team. We use that term very loosely around here because we thought the Bears was a very beatable team. But this team should win at home against a rather struggling Arizona Cardinals team. Of course, DeAndre Hopkins, their biggest threat, 28 catches, 309, and just 1 touchdown on the season. If we look at our guys, they all have more catches than DeAndre Hopkins. So I think if we put the right personnel in play, we can limit him. But that is definitely have to be the focus. And then, of course, containing Kyler Murray. The Minnesota Vikings have not done a good job against mobile quarterbacks this season. Kickoff right around the corner. This is Minnesota Vikings football. And hello and welcome live and on the air all across the SSN via simulcast, the Minnesota Vikings and Arizona Cardinals. Xavier Rhodes, 8 interceptions on the season, still leads the league in interceptions. And for the Arizona Cardinals, of course, coming into this game 2-5, kind of struggling this season, but for all intents and purposes, going to give their best here against the Minnesota Vikings. Moments ago, both teams were introduced. And here the Minnesota Vikings, of course, wearing their alternate jerseys, all purples with the yellow numbers and graphics. For the Minnesota Vikings, the pass defense, 16 total interceptions, 1,281 yards through the air, and an average completion percentage of 77.6. So very, very terrible secondary for the Minnesota Vikings. And the defense for the Cardinals, getting back to the quarterback 11 times, 8 picks, and an average completion percentage of 52. As the Galler horn sounds, we are ready to go here from US Bank. Kirk Cousins, after getting a week off, is going to get the nod here. And then, of course, Desmond Ridder, who was signed from free agency, is going to back him up. As mentioned in the massive amounts of trades that the Minnesota Vikings did this week. And here we go, kablooey. Joey Sly, the Sly Guy, puts his big right foot into this one. This will go down as a touchback. As we kick it off here. Here comes Kyler Murray. Excuse me. As we mentioned, kind of struggling. 90 for 141, 1,007 yards, 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Of course, Minnesota Vikings play their best defense here in the beginning of the game. We will see what shakes loose with... Oh, that's not what I wanted. So we will see what shakes loose with all of that. First down. Everson Griffin lines up as a defensive tackle. Kyler Murray gets the snap, looks, throws, caught, off to the right side. There'll be more, tackled by Rhodes all over the football. 2nd and 3 now. Cardinals has a short run, sorry. Williams will take it up for 2, and it is quickly 3rd down. So Minnesota Vikings looking to force a 3 and out here. Send the pressure, almost gets there, and that will be Zach Ertz getting that pass to the left side. Pressure almost getting there. 8 yards, first down. So here we go. Minnesota. Quick throw. That is AJ Green. Across the middle. For a gain of 15. Oh my heavens. So here we go. Kyler Murray's shotgun. Williams to his right. Gets the snap. It is a play action. He's going to look right. He's going to throw right. Caught and spun down. Danielle Hunter's down for the Vikings. Second injury this season. And he's calling immediately for the staff. Harrison Smith on the tackle. Oh my heavens. Holding that left wrist. Danielle Hunter will exit for the second time. Of course, he's wearing 91 today. And we'll see what happens here. Kyler Murray again in the shotgun. Gets the snap. Throws left wide open. AJ Green again. He will have another catch and a big shot. Given by Cameron Dantzler. Bruce Sternum will not be able to return for this game on top of that wrist injury. So Bruce Sternum and a wrist for Danielle Hunter. He will be held out. So here we go. Minnesota Vikings change up their look. Ertz will go in motion. Murray from the shotgun gets the snap, gives to Williams. Williams stumbles ahead for looks to be 1 yard. Or that's James Conner, rather. Sorry. So James Conner getting in on the action here. Minnesota changing up their look again. It will be Conner again. Big hit by Josh Metellus. Working from the linebacker spot, and it's quickly third down once again. 3rd and 5 now. Murray, empty setback shotgun, gets the snap. He's going to look right. He throws right. Caught wide open. Zach Ertz. He'll get down inside the 10. They're going to mark him down at the 7. Oh, my goodness. Zach Ertz getting involved early, getting involved often. Minnesota Vikings will play off their wide receivers. It's a short screen set up to Williams, who will get down to the 5. So here we go. Murray, high formation. It's a play action. Throws. Caught Ertz, I do believe, yes. Zach Ertz for the touchdown. And they will, or no, Trey McBride. My goodness, it's hard to see players' names from up here, and he's telling the Vikings fans to shush. So Trey McBride also had a, oh boy, a little breakdown in coverage there. So this to make it 7-0. Snap. Kick is away. It is good. So 7-0 early score here. Kyler Murray 8 for 8, 63 yards, throwing a touchdown there. As Minnesota Vikings will get to work. Both offensively and defensively. Kenny Longley lets this thing bounce out of the end zone, and after a week's break. Of course, Nick Mullins started last week's game. Did not play very, very well. Kirk Cousins, 2,000 yards, 10 picks, 10 touchdowns, 41 picks on the season. So struggling Kirk Cousins comes into this one. They did some work this week, though. Well, technically over the last 2 weeks, and they tried to figure out what is going on with Kirk. So they did some things. They changed up a little bit of his throwing motion. They worked on it, so they think they got the answer as Kirk Cousins starts this game under center. Oof. And he throws the ball in disgust. A loss of 10. As you can see, looking for somebody open, trying to get away from the pressure, but a little bit of frustration as very, very uncharacteristic of Brian O'Neill letting that guy go through on that side, of course. So here we go, 2nd and 20 now. Not a good start, not what you want from Minnesota. Cousins, shotgun, gets the snap. Again, flushed out. Cousins just going to throw it away. Minnesota Vikings fans on Fan Appreciation Day, they're not looking like they appreciate what Kirk Cousins is putting on the field. Rightfully so. Here we go. Shotgun, Mostert to his left. Gets the snap, does Kirk. Throws, caught JJ. Not going to be able to shed the tackle. 14 yards on that one. No picks. It is what it is. Hunter Nicewander into punt. So, there it is. Kirk Cousins returned to Vikings football. Doesn't go the way he wants it here. At least not for the first drive. Big hit put on by Jordan Hicks. First and goal now. Eric Hendricks directing traffic. And Kyler Murray gets sacked by Ndamukong Suh. So Ndamukong Suh creates a loss of 9 on the play. Great coverage down the field. Kyler Murray tried to run. Just kind of went the wrong way. And Ndamukong Suh, as soon as Kyler turned around, Suh was right there. Pushes him down. Does not drive him into the turf, which is good. And here come the Vikings. Harrison Smith comes up. Maybe to offer support. Kyler Murray. And Harrison again will not be able to bring down the running back. We'll bring up 3rd and goal. It's a 3rd and goal here in Minnesota. And not James Conner, but Williams will get in. Darrell Williams, however you want to say it. And there's no tenacity for this Minnesota Vikings defense, especially the secondary, taking bad angles, seemingly stopping, and visibly frustrated. Murray, shotgun again, Conner to his left. And Everson Griffin almost gets there and is picked off. Xavier Rhodes is 9th of the season. So Xavier Rhodes, and it was Everson Griffin almost bringing down Murray. So Rhodes will take... Oh, he did bring him down. So Rhodes will take advantage of the bad throw. Horribly underthrown ball. And there's Xavier Rhodes. Welcome back to Minnesota. Homecoming for 3 Vikings. Of course, being Anthony Barr, Everson Griffin, and Xavier Rhodes. And here we go. Goal line stand, Minnesota Vikings. I formation for the Cardinals. It's a pitch out, and Connor will walk in with nobody within 15 yards. He does the slow clap, and that's what seems like half the stadium is doing now. Yeah, he's got like 10 or 15 yards in between. Even on the replay, there's nobody. Of course, he undercut that route well. It was just over his head. So 3rd down, Murray flushed again. Short throw. Williams pushed out of bounds at the 21. We hold him to a 3-point attempt, albeit to make it 24-0. And we'll see what they can do here. The snap is away. The kick is good. On your Monsoon Air scoreboard, 24-0. Good loss of 2 there. And here comes Murray again, shotgun. It's the snap. It is play action. Murray flushed and nobody. Oh my heavens. Are you kidding me? 33 yards on the ground and another big run. We need to go back and we need to see what is happening on this left side. Specifically with Zadarius Smith. And Lewis Cine even. Lewis Cine, I get that he's a rookie, but you cannot just stand and watch Kyler Murray go past you. Everson Griffin, who is originally on the line of scrimmage, eventually leaves. Getting double teamed, eventually leaves. Dalvin Tomlinson chasing as well. Eventually leaves and even attempts to bring down Murray. And if you're Lewis Cine, you need to recognize this and you need to make a break. you need to make a break if you're Lewis Cine. I get that you're a rookie, but you can clearly see that he's coming around the side. And that's just blown coverage by this Minnesota Vikings defense. Harrison Smith, of course. And Everson Griffin. Team up to bring him down, but my goodness, Lewis Cine just cost this team. I don't know in what facet or what form, but I mean, it'll happen. He's a rookie. I get that, but my gosh. And Kendricks on the end around. It is Moore. Also had that big catch a couple plays ago. So not being fooled there. Eric Kendricks. Here is run by Connor to the right. 50 yards and a touchdown on the day. So third down. Quick throw, and that is AJ Green for the touchdown. And this team just needs a shutdown corner. Nobody can keep up with these receivers. I mean, you have Harrison Smith on AJ Green. Granted, they're both veterans and not as fast as they used to be, but I mean, this to make it 31 to nothing. Kick is good. 9-play, 74-yard drives capped off by a 3-for-3 performance by Kyler Murray. Not a lot going on here on either side of the ball for the Vikings. Wide open. I mean, he is, and he goes for the touchdown. Wide open throw. Max Williams, he's listening for the crowd, and they are just not here. This whole crowd has already went home. Just nobody on him. He gets up, and clearly what game plan the Minnesota Vikings came in here for, both sides of the ball, it is not working. The kick is away, it is good, and that is 38 to nothing. And it's a run-pass option for Murray. Big hit, but on, he lost the football. Picked up by Jordan Hicks, and he gets tackled by Kyler Murray. So Lewis Cine kind of makes up for that blown coverage earlier, as he puts a big hit on Kyler Murray. And nobody's around the football, so Skull Chance rain down. They really, really want to see something from this drive. Vikings fans clamoring for anything to hang their hat on. And Kirk throws out of a sack. Might have had Justin Jefferson if he had a second or more. So here we go. Kirk Cousins, shotgun. Mostert. He's sacked again. I mean, I have no explanation. You have an open. I mean, Mostert's not. Okay. So two things with this play. For those of you that don't know football or casual fans that don't understand how blocking schemes work, Mostert is just there for support, and he did not support his quarterback. He went ahead for a double-teamed individual. Granted, he was making it through, but as you can see down the field, he had JJ open right away. And Irv Smith just gives up another sack. They only rushed 4. And as you can see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. Seven players, my apologies. 8 including Cousins, but he's not going to block. At least I would hope not, but I mean, can we put him at the offensive line? Maybe he'd be better there. 7 against 4. And they still find a way to get back to Kirk. I mean, it's a dumpster fire here in Minnesota. US Bank Stadium has turned into a proverbial dumpster fire. Anyway, Randy replay. Back at it again. Throw. Kirk Cousins caught KJ Osborne. Welcome back to Minnesota. First down. Wait a minute. KJ Osborne, first down. First and 10, 2:48 left to go. KJ. Throws. Oh, drop. by JJ, a rare drop. You don't see that too often here. You do not see that too often here in Minnesota. Especially when he's got an open look like that. Anyway, Kirk Cousins throws right, caught Thielen. And he will get out of bounds, stopping the clock at 2:35. So now what is going on with this Minnesota Vikings offense? Cousins, under center, gets the snap. Another play action, tries to throw it away, and he goes down again. And you have an offensive lineman standing 10 yards off where the ball was snapped. There's no noise in the stadium, so you can't blame that. I mean, it's just poor offensive line play. Regardless, Vikings shotgun, Murray left, or not Murray, Mostert, sorry. Big throw and intercepted. Kirk Cousins overthrew Adam Thielen, picked off for the third time. Giving him 44 on the season. And here we go. Kyler Murray, shotgun. Williams to the right. He's going to take off. Xavier Rhodes, big hit applied. Zadarius will bring him down. Kyler Murray. Here we go. 110 left. Kyler Murray tries to make the Vikings jump. They're not moving. Kyler Murray flushed again, throws, picked off. Xavier Rhodes, his 10th of the season, leads the league. And he pads that lead here today, coming away with 2 Murray interceptions. A host of Vikings finally trying to get back there. And he kind of took it away from Patrick Peterson. And here we go, Vikings. A lot of play action for Kirk today. Throws. Are you kidding me? Intercepted. Again. I mean, I don't have to say it. You guys can see it, I would hope. He spent most of his snaps from the shotgun over the head of Kendricks, and that will be A.J. Green for his 2nd touchdown of the day. And if Eric Kendricks was just a little taller or up the field a little bit more, that would have been another pick. Almost to make it 45-0. Kick is away. It is good.
The kick is good. Makes the score Cardinals 45.
Formation. Williams to his right. He's flushed. And Everson Griffin gets back there. Everson Griffin gets back in his first game back in purple. And he does what he does best. And he gets a sack on his former quarterback nonetheless. So welcome back, Everson. Everson Griffin. Traded to the team days ago. And guys, look, Desmond Ridder has his helmet on and is going over with the first team offense. I will try and have somebody reach out to confirm it. Oh my goodness, what a tackle put on by Eric Kendricks. I'll try and have somebody confirm if he is actually going to be playing here. Desmond Ridder, helmet on, looks like he's ready to go. Kyler Murray flushed out again. And Anthony Barr brings him down for the 2nd time in the game. 2nd time this drive. Anthony Barr wants to hear it from the Vikings fans, and they are giving it to him here. As you can hear the cheering and the fans clamoring for something to hold on to. And Anthony Barr gives them something to cheer about. Of course, the offensive coordinator speaking to the defense there. Don't know why. Maybe it's something they're trying out. But anyway, just to make it 48-0. The fans louder than they've ever been this game. Kick is away. Matt Prater's kick right down the middle. And that will quiet down the fans at least for a little bit. Desmond Ridder from the shotgun gets the snap. As a man, it's Justin Jefferson left side, and where's the point? Where's the point? There it is. Pretending to hold the ball. So Desmond Ridder, first completion in purple for a big play, rather. Kyler Murray's getting his team fired up as if they need to, up 48-0. Big completion. Desmond Ridder, first big play is to JJ. Here we go. Ridder again, and as soon as he's about to throw it, he gets brought down. Oh my heavens. And you have to, if you're Raheem Mostert, you have to at least chop block. You take a penalty, do something. So Desmond Ridder under center here. Raheem Mostert. Good little play there from the Vikings. Ridder sacked again. 5th sack for Gardeck. And Brian O'Neill is just getting annihilated on that right side. I mean, maybe... Oh my heavens. Maybe let's not do any more play action. How about that? So the Vikings will tuck the tail between the legs and turn it over to Joey Sly, the Sly guy. A 57-yarder is in the air. Excuse me, in the air, and it is good. So, first points of the board here in the second half. 2nd and 6. Murray. And it is picked off by Eric Kendricks. They went to Moore again. And Eric Kendricks is sipping the coffee and taking a bow, or the tea, however you want to look at it. So Eric Kendricks recognized that Moore got behind him, and he made the adjustment, and wowzers, what an interception. For a 41-yarder. Joey Sly's kick is good, so 48-6 now. Minnesota scoring twice. There you go. The Vikings never give up mentality. Ridder gets the snap. A short throw, caught. Irv Smith will not get the first down, but at 4th and 3, down by 42, you got to believe the Vikings are going to go for it, and they're going to keep Ridder out there. At times making some questionable throws is Desmond, but overall, he's doing everything he can to put this Minnesota Vikings team in positive yardage, as he has done majority of the day, and he's got a man. It's JJ, left side, first down, 2. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And that will stop the clock as they try to line up for another play. They won't get it off, but my goodness. This game is not going to be won. I do believe we will not call this a comeback season moment, but the Vikings fans are loudest than they've ever been on Fan Appreciation Day. So here we go. Desmond Ridder under center, barking out instructions. He gives it to Mostert. Mostert will get swallowed up after looks to be a 4, maybe 3-yard gainer out there. Ooh, they're going to give him 2. I thought maybe he had enough to get a little bit more, but I guess not. Yeah. Desmond Ridder. It's going to send JJ out wide. Gets the snap. It's a quick release. Throws. Batted away by Adam Thielen. I know it's weird. You do not adjust your radio dials. You did hear that correctly. Batted away by Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen had to turn into a defender there. Bat away the almost interception, so love to see it. Throws, batted away. Oh, he had JJ. Just needed a little bit more loft. Did Desmond Ridder. And they're going to go for it. Why the freak not? Joey Sly is trotting out there, but he's being called back by the Vikings. And so maybe he didn't get the memo. But here we go, Desmond Ridder. This is where the boys become men or the men become boys, however you want to look at it. Shouting out. Ridder gets the snap, throws, and another caught ball. That is Tyler Johnson, and another 4th down conversion. The 3rd on the drive, or 2nd of the drive, 3rd on the game by Desmond Ridder. Gets the snap, looks over his options, leaves the pocket, throws, incomplete. Just overthrowing Justin Jefferson. So, see what happens here is Ridder will come out. Shotgun. Gets the snap. Short throw out of a sack. And my goodness, the pressure. Team sacks today for 9 for the Cardinals, rather. Sorry. And now we'll see what the Vikings want to do here. It's 2-down territory, of course.
Here we go. Here we go.
You got to believe it. 2-down territory. Ridder gets the snap. Throws. Oh, almost caught. And it will be 3rd down, or 4th down, rather. Tyler Johnson, the intended receiver. Is that Aaron Rodgers? So we'll see if magic can strike again for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, you're not going to come back and win this thing unless something very, very weird happens. And Desmond Ridder is just shouting out multiple things here. And it's going to be pass interference, it looks like. As
Pass interference. Offense.
Oh, on the offense. They're going to... Oof. Here we go. Adam Thielen moved. Across the formation to a bunch to the right. Gets the snap. Throws. Ridder caught. Thielen touchdown. So Adam Thielen is the lone touchdown recipient for today's game. And Desmond Ridder throws his first touchdown in purple. And the fans are really, really loud. Kevin O'Connell likes what he saw. And he's motioning them to go for 2. So Ridder and the offense will stay out there going for 2 here. Here we go. So we put the Microsoft tablet down. Desmond Ridder in this Minnesota Vikings offense taking a couple minutes here. Getting the snap. Oh, God. Throws out of a sack. Had a wide open man. Desmond Ridder gets the ball away, but Allen will get back there, breaking up any chance at a 2-point conversion. You'd think that short throw caught. It'll be more fumbled. Everson Griffin came behind and punched the ball out. Lewis Seen comes up with it, and Moore has another. Moore has another turnover. Let's see. Everson Griffin came to punch that ball out. He might have been down, though. He might have been down. Minnesota needs to get this thing off before the review comes in. 7th turnover in the game for Minnesota. They do get the snap. No chance for a review now. Desmond Ridder, throw, caught, Thielen. 2-minute warning. So a dangerous throw for Ridder. Not necessarily... not necessarily a dangerous throw in general, but he's underthrown and overthrown a lot this season. Ridder gets the snap. Throws, caught, Thielen holds on. The Minnesota Vikings will take a 2nd timeout. Now, going back to what I was talking about prior to the interception, or the fumble, not the interception. We've had 2 of those today, but the fumble. A new coach in a new system. You know, you got to figure out what you have, and sometimes it takes a couple years. So this is definitely not the start the Vikings wanted, but we're seeing some good things here as Ritter would throw this thing away. Holding on to it as long as he possibly could there. Kevin O'Connell doesn't seem to be too mad at the decision. Desmond Ritter. Bringing Thielen in motion. JJ will make a shift as well. Ritter gets the snap. Throws. Picked off. My goodness. Well, that's going to be the game. If it wasn't already. Oh, boy. 5-4, 3-2-1. The Vikings take an L. Washed out graphics and all, there you have it. Everybody's hanging their head down low. Harrison Smith walking up the field, visibly frustrated, rightfully so. Hey, that rhymed. And today, as you can see, the score summary with the graph that we always show, the winning trend. Minnesota was never in this thing until the third quarter, and I do believe that trend is a little bit slopey. There you have it, just under 15 points scored by the Minnesota Vikings at 12. So you got a team in the Cardinals that scored 21 in the first quarter. Minnesota didn't get going until the third. Minnesota in the first half, I do believe we said on the broadcast that, you know, you go into the half with, what did I say? Wasn't it like 13 yards or negative yardage? Negative total yards because of all the sacks that Kirk took. I do believe it was negative yardage, and since then, Kirk being pulled, this team, it's kind of shown some light. Desmond and Joey Sly accounting for all of the team's points today. We're going to get these player stats and get you out of here, as the fan appreciation game does not go the way of the purple. My heavens. Well, you guys know Kirk Cousins' stats. He didn't really play too much after the halftime break. He did finish with a QB rating of 11.1. 8 for 26. He threw one pass and it was intercepted. Oh, what happened? What the heck? Anyway, little production booth or production truck issues, rather. Yeah. Let's see. We can't see his sacks, but we'll get into those as well. I knew he was sacked, I want to say 6 times today. Anyway, so made one completion to the other team, ended the day on 6 picks. Desmond Ritter came in after the first drive of the second half. QB rating of 59.4, 21 for 38, 223, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. So brand new quarterback, brand new system, literally is a rookie, released by the Atlanta Falcons, picked up and signed. Kind of a funny story. He was originally going to wear number 5, but they accidentally printed number 9, so he's stuck with number 9. Just kind of a random Minnesota Vikings fact. Raheem Mostert, a brand new addition as well, backing up Dalvin Cook, who's thankfully going to be back next week. 13 for 35. Only 2.6 per his first action of the year, so hopefully that trends better next time we see Raheem Mostert. Justin Jefferson 1 for 1 on the end around. CJ Ham 1 for 7 on the 4th down. Desmond Ritter had 1 for 2. In the receiving game, Adam Thielen won the day in terms of catches. 10 catches, 137 and a touchdown. Actually, in terms of yardage, catches, and touchdowns. So there you go. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 108. He still gets his. He did have that one drop. That is very, very uncharacteristic of Jay Jefferson. JJ, as he's commonly referred to around here. I'm sorry. I'm just flabbergasted at how this team performed today. You'll have to give Randy some grace. Irv Smith Jr. after the signing of Colin Johnson. 7 catches, 84 yards. His best performance this season. Raheem Mostert, 3 for 7. Tyler Johnson, 1 for 11. On the big conversion. And then KJ Osborne. He returns. We completely forgot about KJ Osborne. He just hit the field very minimally today, but he had 1 catch for 19 yards. And welcome back, KJ Osborne. So 4 new faces on the Minnesota Vikings team today. KJ Osborne, Raheem Mostert, Desmond Ridder, and welcome back, Everson Griffin. So there you have it. Blocking, sacks allowed, 7. 3 by Brian O'Neill, who is a savvy veteran and the star of this offensive line. 3 given up by Brian O'Neill. We mentioned it in the broadcast. Christian Darrisaw on the left side. 3 given up by him as well. So today we do care about blocking, and we're going to go to tackles and look at total, and it's Eric Kendricks with 22. That is a season high, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to go out and say it. It might even be a career high for the aforementioned Eric Kendricks. Harrison Smith with 13, Jordan Hicks with 12, Xavier Rhodes with 10, Lewis Seen, the rookie, getting on the column with 9. Tackles for loss, we had a bunch. Anthony Barr with 2, Zadarius with 1, also had a sack. Sue, Hicks, Griffin, welcome back. Seen, Smith, Kendricks, each had 1. QB sacks for the Minnesota Vikings defense today. 2 for Anthony Barr. So twice Kyler Murray ran into a bar. Zadarius, Smith with 1. Sue, Griffin, and Rhodes. Sue and Griffin, rather. Welcome back, Everson Griffin. Sack on the day in his first game back. Amazing. Expected to retire at the end of the season, but putting together a good show here today. Xavier Rhodes had 2. Eric Kendricks had 1. 4 interceptions, I do believe. I do. Randy Replay going a little crazy here. Maybe even having a stroke. Who knows? Interceptions, Xavier Rhodes with 2. 10 on the season. Leads the league as of right now. Eric Kendricks with 1. Pass deflections, we had 4 by Thielen, who had to, of course, turn into a defender, as we mentioned on the broadcast. JJ. So the first time 2 wide receivers getting in that stat column. Lewis Seen, the rookie, and Xavier Rhodes. So forced fumbles, we had 2 by Everson Griffin and Lewis Seen, picked up by Jordan Hicks and Lewis Seen. So I do believe on the Everson Griffin one, Lewis Seen picked it up, and I do believe on the Lewis Seen one, Jordan Hicks picked it up. So those 3 guys kind of having some fun out there today, forcing and picking up fumbles. No blocks, no safeties, no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings today. Joey Sly was 2 for 2, longest of 57. He hit from 41, I do believe, as well. Perfect on extra points. Hunter Nicewander, 4 punts, 179, netting 166. Kenny Wongwu, kick return, 6 for 142. And punt return in the departed Jalen Rager, or in Lua, 2 for 11, longest of 9. Oof. I don't expect anybody to be here from Minnesota Vikings fan line, but my question for you this week is, what do we have to do? Should we have kept Aaron Donald in a game like this, a 2-5 team coming into US Bank Stadium? This kind of performance is unacceptable. So my question, if you were the owner of the Minnesota Vikings, what would you do to kind of jumpstart this team and get it turned around into a positive a positive atmosphere here, because obviously the fans want more. The Vikings players and coaching staff on the sidelines are so deflated, so visibly frustrated and deflated and hurt, hanging their heads down low. This is not how they wanted to go, despite the defense outplaying the offense, and some of the offensive guys shining, like JJ doing what he does best, Adam Thielen having a good year. Dalvin Cook, I do believe at one point was the league leading rusher, and you're seeing bright spots on this Minnesota Vikings team in general, but overall they're not, yeah, I don't know. They're not doing enough to really get the win. Usually the Minnesota Vikings come out hot and then kind of cool off by the end of the half. Today was the complete opposite. They came out slow. The defense usually plays good in the first half. They didn't pick up their stride until the second. And the Vikings offense really got going, as you can see by the the graph tracker down there, in the second half. So, if we look at the team stats, total offensive yards 317, and the Cardinals have 530. Just 45 yards of rushing in lieu of Dalvin Cook being out. That is definitely not something to be worried about. Dalvin Cook will be back next week. We'll see that climb. Just 19 first downs, passing yards 272. And a team that has negative yardage in the first half, or very minimal. I do believe if it wasn't negative, it was like 20 or something. A lot has happened since then. I really can't remember. For the Vikings, the take give, we are -3 as we give away 8 and take 5 from the Cardinals. Third down conversions, we are 5 for 18, 27%. Fourth down conversions, we are 4 for 6. 1 and 2 in the red zone with a touchdown to show. Another big stat here is the red zone percentage for the Cardinals. 7 for 9, scoring 5 touchdowns. And of course, 1 penalty, 0 yards. The offensive pass interference happened in the end zone. Would have been a touchdown, or not a touchdown, but would have been a turnover on downs anyways. It was in 4th down anyway. We're gonna get you back to the main screen once again. Minnesota Vikings lose on Fan Appreciation Day, 51-12. Not a lot to be appreciative about in this one. As Randy exhales after a tough day, the preceding broadcast was a presentation of the NFL and the SSN. Any rebroadcast, gosh darn it, Randy Replay is having a stroke, maybe even an aneurysm. Any rebroadcast, restream, or redistribution of this broadcast cannot be made without the express written consent of the NFL, the SSN, or any of its subsidiaries. We thank you for watching. We're going to get you back to the main screen where we will preview next week's game. It's a big one. See you in just a moment. And welcome back to the main screen. No injuries to report, so Garrett Bradbury and Danielle Hunter will be available for next week. Once again, my bad. There we go. 3, 2, 1. And hello and welcome back to the main screen. Once again, no injuries to report, so the Minnesota Vikings luck out kind of twice in a row. The Justin Jefferson being held out of the Bears game was a practice injury, and then Danielle Hunter left in the Dolphins game. Either way, Danielle Hunter and Garrett Bradbury left the game with injuries here, and do not show up on the injury report this week, so that is good. Practice player signed. Panthers have signed Drake London from the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. So Drake London started the season on the Falcons, picked up signed to the practice squad by the Vikings this last week, and now he is a member of the Carolina Panthers. So, Minnesota Vikings fans, what was your favorite Drake London practice squad moment? Anyway, a big just a big letdown. I mean, the whole season has been a big letdown, but I mean, more so just for the sheer fact that it was Fan Appreciation Day. Luckily, the Bears and Lions lost. Looks like the Packers are getting their lead in the division up 3 games to the Bears. And then the Lions, of course, keep trending downwards. So it's Minnesota Vikings division to get out of, or Minnesota Vikings division is wide open to get out of the last place. We just can't seem to make it work. Two teams that are very beatable. The at the time Bears on paper and the Cardinals on paper 2-5. Now both teams 3-5 coming into this one. Or out of this one, I should say. And now you go to Washington to play at FedEx Field, the place where injuries come to be recognized. One of the worst fields of all time, and quite frankly, the stadium that Randy Replay does not like to call games from, because the box is so bad for the visiting team. We are positioned not on the Minnesota Vikings sideline, not on the Washington Commanders sideline. We are in the end zone. So we don't have we have a good view, but it's, I mean, if your team is down on the other end of the field, it is hard to get some of these calls off. So hopefully Randy will be able to provide good calls for the simulcast next week. The team will be visiting the quarterback situation. At this point, Kirk Cousins has thrown too many interceptions. I do believe you have to turn the team over to Desmond Ridder, especially after that last performance, albeit at home, but see what the kid has on the road. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get you back to your Sunday here, and a very, very tough schedule coming up for Minnesota. The next 3 games, you need to win this one. If you can break off a win here against the Commanders, you have two away games. You break off a win against the Bills. You come home. You have to run the table, basically. But if you can start the momentum, it all starts here with the Commanders. If you lose this game, you're 0-7. Then you become 0-8. If you lose this game, it's over. The best you can get is 8-8, and I don't think you're gonna have enough wins and losses to get into the playoffs with the Packers being the way they are. And then some of the other teams in the NFC are trending better than 8-8. So very, very big must-win game for the Vikings in this next one. This has been Randy Replay. This has been Vikings football. And we will see you in the next one.